is CTV News.
Good evening, I'm Sanjay. Maru. Thanks for joining us. Well, today was Budget Delegation Day as Windsorites made their case to City Hall on what they want to see changed in the 2026 budget. Among the proposals in the budget is for a single transit fare to be raised to $4, one of many efforts aimed at achieving a 0% property tax increase. And that led to requests from a number of Windsorites asking for transit fees to stay at $3.75. Among those making those appeals, the head of the Windsor-Essex County Health Unit.
For those that rely on or rely solely on public transit, transportation is a social determinant of health, just as much as housing, just as much as income, just as much as food.
During today's special meeting of council that lasted 7 hours, Dr. Ken Blanchette telling the mayor and councilors this afternoon that continuing to raise transit fares could have real consequences for families already struggling, pointing to food insecurity data that shows many households are already being forced to make difficult trade-offs.
When you look at the cost, the fixed cost, rent, transportation, those necessities that they need to do, if any one of those goes up, typically the last thing that a family puts their money towards is food. And the trend that we've seen over the last few years is that it's not a nutritional food basket. It is just a food basket.
And the cost of transit fares just one of many decisions that councilors will have to weigh as they look toward finalizing tough budget decisions later this month. As CTV's Bob Belichico reports, council is also facing asks to help make organizations whole while also being encouraged to avoid an increase in user fees and to bring back school bus extras.
If you start putting economic barriers that are beyond people's reach, they will stop.
That's what Terry Fink is hoping doesn't happen. He's asking City Council to reconsider a proposed 6 to 8% increase to user fees, saying it could create barriers for children, adults, and community groups, preventing them from participating.
You can't raise fees 6 to 8% on an annual basis because it just is accumulating. At some point, you won't be able to afford it.
That's Fink speaking on behalf of the curling community who are not playing this season. He's calling for a more modest 1 to 2% increase. Fink says a fair increase is needed, especially if the city wants to attract curlers back and not price them out.
At least $5 a year just to get us to a spot where we're able to provide care that makes me sleep well at night.
Ron Dunn, executive director of Victoria Manor, citing rising food, healthcare, and wage costs, is asking for help. He says daily expenses have climbed to nearly $80 per person, and the city is looking at increasing the per diem from $60 to $65.
$65, great, appreciated, love it, but we need to get to 80. So we're asking really to have a conversation about, can we tie it to inflation? Can we visit it every year?
Dunn would like council to consider a $5 increase every year.
We're talking now, today, they had to take up to 3 buses.
Darcy Reno, speaking to council on behalf of high school students affected by the cancellation of school bus extras, she is urging the city to consider reviving the Transit 1000 route.
Some of them walking over 1 kilometer in 2 buses.
In her remarks, Reno said her group is committed to developing workable funding models for the service and pushing for the school board to step up financially. The budget will be discussed later this month. Bob Belichico, CTV News.
Meanwhile, one city councilor is pitching a plan to improve parking in the core. You may recall last year when the end of paid parking enforcement was pushed 1 hour extra from 6 p.m. to 7. The 2026 budget proposes extending paid parking enforcement by another 2 hours to 9 p.m., generating an added $650,000. However, Ward 3's Ronaldo Agostino says that move would only hurt businesses. Instead, he's asking council to move forward with measures that would allow Windsor to reduce paid parking hours back to 6 p.m. This would include adding angled spots, increasing parking, raising fees at the meter, and leasing parking.
What I want to do with this is I want to give potential businesses that are looking to move into the downtown core the opportunity to buy some street parking or lease it. It's one of the complaints I get from many corporations looking to move their offices downtown is, Council, there's no parking. This will give them that opportunity to have more parking.
Meanwhile, Matthew House in Forest Glade has put out an urgent plea for help after a water main break Saturday night left the donor-funded refugee shelter without drinkable water. They say it happened around 7:30 Saturday evening. The hope is repairs could be made today. In the meantime, the agency needed to gather enough water for 72 people to drink and use. Now the organization needs to find the funds to cover the cost to fix it, estimated to be anywhere from $2,000 to $20,000. Officials say the Riverside Optimist Club donated 178 gallons of water over the weekend, and that several other community groups also stepped up to ease the burden.
Perfect world scenario, we're going to dig it up and it's going to be just a 1 foot blowout, and he's going to have it fixed in a couple hours and we'll be good. Worst case scenario, we're having to run a new water line from the street all the way into the building.
A reminder today for dog owners across Essex County to keep your pets on a leash in public spaces. It follows renewed concerns about off-leash dogs after charges were laid in a dog attack in Essex. CTV's Chris Campbell explains.
People don't feel safe walking right now in the town of Essex, so we really have to take this seriously.
Leash laws are back in the spotlight in Essex. Local leaders are urging dog owners to follow the rules.
This is something I personally have zero tolerance about.
Mayor Sherry Bondi plans to bring a notice of motion to Essex Town Council tonight aimed at reinforcing the town's existing leash bylaws. Essex County OPP laid charges in regards to a dog attack last week. Since then, Bondi says she's received 15 messages about similar situations.
At no point in our municipality do I want anybody walking down any street in Essex feeling unsafe due to a dog off leash.
She says while most dog owners are responsible, even one off-leash encounter can quickly turn dangerous.
Yeah, I've seen a few times, but not very often.
At the off-leash dog park in Essex, one dog owner says he doesn't see the issue often, but admits it does happen outside designated areas.
They're animals. You can't predict what they're going to do.
In a media release, Essex County OPP said all dog owners need to be familiar with the Dog Owners Liability Act, stating under the act the owner of a dog shall exercise reasonable precautions to prevent it from biting or attacking a person or domestic animal, or from behaving in a manner that poses a menace to the safety of the public. It goes on to say the owner of a dog could be liable if the dog bites or attacks another person or domestic animal.
Leash your dogs, and even in your own property, make sure they're under your control.
Windsor Essex County Humane Society Executive Director Lynette Bain says it's an important reminder for owners to take simple steps that can make a big difference if a dog ever gets loose.
We do live in an area where there are wildlife around. We hear multiple reports of coyotes, of other wildlife, and you never know what's lurking or what's out there, so it's better safe than sorry.
Meantime, Bondi says there's a plan to bring another off-leash dog park to the municipality.
We just did a master plan in Harrow, and it's recommending a dog park, around our baseball diamonds, so that's a place where you can, bring your dog. I wish we could have more dog parks, but they are an expense, and a lot of people don't even like using them as well.
In Essex, Chris Campbell, CTV News.
Closing arguments are underway and behind schedule in the murder trial of a Toronto man charged with killing a young woman from Essex. 20-year-old Juliana Panunzio and 18-year-old Christine Crooks were shot to death at a house party in Fort Erie in 2021. 27-year-old Christopher Lucas of Toronto has not only pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder, but his lawyer says a former co-accused, Trevor Barnett, is responsible for the killings. Crooks's blood was found on Barnett's shoes, which matched a bloody footprint left in the kitchen. Barnett, according to the defense, threw away the clothes he was wearing the night of the shooting, and he disposed of the car he left the scene in, and he was the one to give the weapon to a mutual friend with the serial number scratched off. Lucas, on the other hand, his lawyers argue, kept the clothes he was wearing, and no blood was found on any of them. Barnett testified at trial and presented evidence that implicated Lucas, which the defense says was full of lies. Barnett, the jury also knows, was accused of murder, but his case never made it to trial. The Crown was expected to do their closing arguments, but that will not begin until Tuesday morning. A new report released by the Center for Addiction and Mental Health finds alcohol consumption that rose during the COVID-19 pandemic is one of several alarming long-term trends that has not gone away. CTV's Stephanie Mazzotti explains.
Just over 3,000 adults completed an online self-reporting survey about their habits. Topics including smoking, drinking, drug use, mental health, and physical health.
It's an interesting report to see from the health unit's perspective because it gives us a provincial perspective.
The report found just under 80% of respondents used alcohol in 2019. In 2025, that number has not dropped significantly, coming in as 76.2%. Alcohol dependence is being reported at higher than pre-pandemic levels, rising from 7.4% in 2019 to 13.9% in 2020.
For years, we have been really emphasizing opioid use within the substance use framework. And it's not just the illicit substances, it's these legal but also very harmful substances that we need to be reiterating the message out to our community about responsible use, abstinence if that's appropriate for you, and harm reduction.
And respondents who reported poor mental health increased from 26.2% in 2022 to 29% 5 years later. The report goes on to document a shift away from purchasing alcohol from beer stores, 25% in 2016 down to 12.3% in 2025. 10% say they have purchased alcohol in grocery stores in the last 30 days, and 6% from convenience stores.
There is a documented correlation between availability of a substance and people's interest and uptake of that substance.
Stephanie Mazzotti, CTV News.
Still ahead, if you are planning on visiting Point Pelee in the next few days, you may want to hold off. The popular park will be closing for a few days. We'll tell you exactly when next. And CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me now for a look at the forecast. Gary, could we be seeing a return to some snowfall?
You know what? Imagine some snow on the ground and having to shovel it. Of late, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, we've been well above seasonal and temperatures still well above seasonal today. Case in point being 4 degrees above seasonal. But it was a windy day, and that wind out of the northwest did make it feel a lot colder than 3 degrees Celsius. It felt like about -3, -4 at that time. There's some snow in northern central Ontario. Actually, it's filtering more so into the Georgian Bay territory and cottage country due east tonight. It will stay to the north and east. Meanwhile, the winds pick up and another system pushes through, followed by a secondary area of low pressure that slides a little bit further south on its heels. So it's a 1-2 punch in the next 24 to say 48 hours. The leading edge of the first system will bring rain. It'll be mild enough to see that, followed by some flurries, maybe even a bit of a mix between rain, freezing rain, and ice pellets. I'm more concerned about that transition. Wherever we see rain changing over, perhaps the freezing rain, ice pellets, snow, that's when we get into slippery conditions. If we do see that, it's likely late tomorrow night. Partly cloudy, though, now as we head into early tomorrow morning. We're talking about temperatures, well, sustained at around -1. It will level off and stay around that mark through the overnight. The lowest temperature, though, at -1 feels closer to about -7, -8. So again, because it's windy through tomorrow morning, it feels a lot colder. Wind chill a factor now. Tomorrow morning through the midday, afternoon, and evening, we'll see gusts in that 50 to 60 range in Windsor. Higher gusts for Pelee Island and any locale along the north shores of Lake Erie. 0 degrees at 8 a.m. We're looking at southwesterlies sustained at 30K, and then 3 degrees through noon, cloudy, and then cloudy and rainy by 4 or 5 o'clock. Between 3 and 4, we'll get up to about 5 degrees Celsius. So windy and rainy late in the afternoon, windy again through the overnight, and then we see a mix, a transition from rain to icy precipitation and then flurries. A high of 2 degrees Wednesday. Flurries, though, Thursday through the weekend and beyond. the next 5 days. Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, with temperatures averaging about -3 for a high. So there's your snow. It's on the way as temperatures do decrease and become seasonal, if not below seasonal. We haven't seen much of that, obviously, this winter. Let's look at your weather.
Minnesota, along with Twin Cities, Minneapolis, and St. Paul, are asking the courts to step in to stop an immigration enforcement surge in the state. They're calling the action by the Trump administration a federal invasion.
We allege that the obvious targeting of Minnesota for our diversity, for our democracy, and our differences of opinion with the federal government is a violation of the Constitution and of federal law. We ask the courts to end the DHS unlawful behavior in our state, the intimidation, the threats, the violence. We ask the courts to end the tactics on our places of worship, our schools, our courts, our marketplaces, our hospitals, and even funeral homes.
The state says thousands of poorly trained, aggressive, and armed agents have rolled into communities, making them less safe. Minnesota also says the surge has overwhelmed local police departments that now have to deal with the aftermath of the agents' actions. The lawsuit is asking a federal court in Minnesota to declare the surge unconstitutional and unlawful in an effort to prevent what they believe is the arrest of citizens and visa holders without probable cause. It comes on the same day the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago filed a similar federal lawsuit against the U.S. government over what Illinois' governor is calling a dangerous use of force. Stellantis is announcing plans to phase out plug-in hybrid programs in North America, citing changing market conditions and a focus on more competitive electric solutions. The automaker is discontinuing the 2026 PHEV Chrysler Pacifica, Jeep Grand Cherokee, and Jeep Wranglers. Compared to a traditional hybrid, a PHEV has the ability to drive solely on either battery power or gas. The change comes amidst a policy shift that has seen governments in both Canada and the U.S. change course on electric vehicles. Well, Canadians are cutting back on dining out and restaurants are feeling the pinch. A new study suggests thousands of restaurants could close in 2026. As CTV's Travis Fortnum shows us, staff at one eatery in Windsor say what used to be a bustling restaurant is now largely half full.
Friday's Fish and Chips, the whole restaurant's filled with the delicious smell of fresh fried fish, the sound of fries sizzling in the fryers, but what it's not filled with these days is customers.
We've seen about a 50% decline in the last 3 months.
Owner Steve Crawford says things have been majorly slowing down as folks tighten their budgets more and more, with tough economic times forcing families to cut back on discretionary spending like eating out. He says even he's not dining out as much.
It's tough out here.
Crawford and his patrons aren't struggling alone. A new study out of Dalhousie University projects more than 4,000 restaurants could close across Canada this year, with 7,000 already shutting their doors in 2025.
And what we're seeing right now are consumers under tremendous financial pressure. They're having a hard time buying food at the grocery store, so they're not spending as much time in food service.
And those food costs are going up for restaurants too. So are rent and insurance. Restaurants Canada says 41% of restaurants are operating at a loss or barely breaking even, but are keeping prices low because they know customers are budgeting.
We've cut the profits in order to keep the business going.
Crawford says prices at Fridays have only gone up once in the past 3 years, despite those costs still climbing.
Retirement fund keeps going down. That's where we're at with that.
For Crawford, the strain shows up most clearly during what used to be their busiest hours. He says Friday dinner rushes once meant a packed dining room, a sure sign the night was going to be a good one.
Completely full, yeah.
And now, like at its busiest, what is it?
House.
Travis Fortnum, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index drove further into record territory today on strength in the basic materials sector. The TSX gaining 262 points in New York. The Dow adds 86, the Nasdaq up 63. The Canadian dollar gains 0.11 of a cent. And on commodity markets, gold is up almost $114 an ounce. Oil adds 38 cents a barrel. Point Pelee National Park is preparing to close at the end of this week for its annual deer call. The park will be closed from this Friday, January 16th to January 21st. Parks Canada and Caldwell First Nation will be conducting the second part of its annual deer call. The first part took place in mid-November. The goal is to restore ecological balance. The park will reopen on January 22nd. Parks Canada say they've been collaborating with Caldwell First Nation since 2015 to manage the deer population. Well, the annual Brentwood Dream Lottery announcing big winners this weekend, and that includes their own services. Lottery entries generating about $200,000 to help maintain treatment programs at a time when the wait list is about 2 months.
We know the community is what makes this lottery happen. It's not ourselves here, it's the community. If nobody buys, we don't have a lottery. And everybody stepped up this year and really did.
And I thought, oh, like what kind of scam is this?
The impact was our sales went down from last year, but our prize board dropped by $800,000 also. And for us this year, we will be more successful than last year by a great deal.
Everyone who's involved with Brentwood, all the volunteers, those who love this community, the people who live in it, thank you very much for all that you do to help build everyone up.
So what it really allows us to do is to at least currently operate as we have. This will keep us pretty whole in terms of our funding and our funding envelope, where we would like to get to a point where we can supersede that. It's important that we start addressing what the issue is, and when individuals are ready to come see us, we want to be available, we want to be able to get them into services, because the sooner we can intervene, the better the prognosis is for folks.
Trade and security discussions will be on the table this week when Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney heads to China. CTV's Abigail Beeman sets up the trip for us.
Expect progress on so-called irritants, say Canadian government sources, but not an elimination of tariffs. Canada has been hammered by tariffs on canola, pork and seafood, which China levied in response to Canadian duties on Chinese EVs. Government officials bill the trip as important in the long game as Canada tries to diversify trade.
Only less than 5% of our commodities trade goes to China. I think that's mostly about politics rather than substance, but the idea is to try and reestablish a good relationship with China. And
former Prime Minister Jean Chrétien was in Beijing last week. The Prime Minister's parliamentary secretary and Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs visited last month.
This has been a building block process. The trip in and of itself is an important stepping stone. I'm confident there will be outcomes and deliverables.
Cody Blois will be back for this trip. Carney also bringing 5 ministers and newly Liberal floor crosser Michael Ma.
There's so many challenges with China, and we have to be careful not to become strategically dependent. Pragmatic engagement is fine. Diplomatic amnesia would be a mistake.
Canadian officials concede there will always be areas Canada and China can work together on, and others we cannot. A coalition of human rights groups issued a letter to the Prime Minister ahead of the trip, urging Mark Carney to put human rights at the center of the relationship.
We haven't had a kind of a coordinated strategy in terms of dealing with China on the human rights, on the repression, and on the foreign interference. I think it's about time we express this.
The Prime Minister leaves for Beijing Tuesday. After China, he heads to Qatar for a bilateral visit focused on trade, followed by the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
And Gary is back with a final look at weather. Gary.
Sanjay, I'm anticipating a windy day tomorrow morning, a mixture of sun and cloud, and then increasing cloudiness through the early stage of the afternoon. The latter stage of the afternoon through supper time, say 6, 7 p.m. for most. That's when rain kicks in. We'll see a high of 5 degrees Celsius, 6 degrees above season. We'd normally be at -1 for a daytime maximum temperature. And then it just gets cooler from there, +2 and an icy mix on Wednesday, and then cloudy with flurries and/or snow, maybe even sticking to the ground from Thursday through to Monday, and that includes the weekend, with an average daytime temperature of -3, and the lows will average somewhere between -9 and -10, double digits. It's going to be cold next week. Extra layers required. Shovels at the ready, no doubt. Let's look at your weather. Have a good night.
For the third straight year, the Detroit Free Press Marathon has sold out its 2 most popular races. However, this time it sold out months earlier. Registration opened on January 1st, and 1 week later, the marathon and international half marathon were already at capacity. Race weekend is set for October 16th to the 18th. Organizers say this was the fastest sellout in their 49-year history. More than 2,500 Canadians have signed up. Of that, more than 1,000 are coming from Windsor. Organizers say they expect nearly 30,000 participants over race weekend. That's up from 26,000 last year. Well, the Windsor Express is bringing back the Clash at the Coliseum. The Express say it's been nearly a decade since the team played at Caesars Windsor. Tuesday, February 24th will be the 5th time an Express game will be played inside the Coliseum. The Express will take on the Sudbury 5 with tip-off set for 7 p.m. Tickets start just under $40 and go on sale this Friday. A portion of proceeds will support the UHC Hub of Opportunities and its 15 food banks across Windsor, Essex. And finally tonight, some Essex County OPP members took the day off Sunday to lace up their skates against former NHL stars. Players hitting the ice at the Atlas Tube Recreation Center as part of the NHL Alumni Benefit Tour. The game pinning former pros against local law enforcement in front of a crowd of a few hundred. All proceeds from the game support Special Olympics Ontario, athletes and families. Since its inception in Essex County, the game has raised between $8,000 and $10,000 each year. And that is your news for tonight. Thank you so much, as always, for watching this edition of Windsor's News Leader. We'll see you right back here tomorrow at 6 and 11.